Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Bourbon Neophyte. Hope you all are doing well. I can certainly tell you it is a cold day, or was a cold day here in Vegas. That's for darn sure. It was unusually blustery today. And for us to get up in the morning and it's 36 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds, it is cold. I don't think we even got above, I don't know, 50 today. I doubt it highly. Even though the sun was shining, that wind was just horrid. However, I am fortunate enough to have some samples of just the right whiskey to warm somebody's heart. That's for sure. I have just the right stuff. But before I get into all that, man, I'm just sitting here. I've got a couple of things open. Some have a Glen cap on it, so on and so forth. But I've got them sitting here. But the one in particular I have open is a Glen Scotia, and oh my gosh, I could just smell that wafting out of this Glen right here, and oh my goodness. And you know what? I have to make sure I got the right one. Yes, I do. Okay. I wasn't expecting a note I got off of it because I didn't think it was peated until I just now put it up there because I'm like, oh my gosh, I smell peat, peat, peat. And it's like, holy smokes. Well, okay, it's peated too. I'm fine with that. And here it was. I could have been drinking peated whiskey for a while now, and I purposely wasn't because I didn't realize this was peated until now. But that's okay. That's quite all right. But anyway, let me jump into chat real quick here just to say hi to some people. Hey, I know Mr. Whiskey Shits was here earlier. I talked to him on Livewire. Always appreciate Adam. Shane, always great to have you here from Story Time. And of course, we got Brian here. Cheers, man. Thank you. And the benefactor for this particular stream tonight, uh, Eric, who dropped me off a couple of marvelous samples to which I have here in front of me that I was talking to you all about. So thanks to Eric for that. I know I am going to enjoy this. And holy smokes, Stacy, cheers. Yeah, I was watching that stream with you and Chris, and I really enjoyed it, but it's the first time in a while I really got to sit and listen to Chris in a while. And I've seen him here and there, but to sit him down like that and talk to him, it was nice. I'm gonna have to ring him up and chat with him a bit and have him pop over on my stream one day. But I know how late it is for you, so I appreciate you being up just to come over and saying, "Hey." Oh, appreciate it. Look at there. That's right. Did it up, and I put the right hat on today. That's for sure. Tater Dom, cheers, man. Thank you for stopping over here. John, cheers. Mr. Great Shot, really appreciate you. Oh my goodness, look at this. What is up, man? Nice to see you here. That's for darn sure. Hey, cheers, brother. Nice to see you. Always appreciate seeing you over here. And don't forget, everybody, smash that like button. And if you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe and click on the bell so you get all the notifications. But smash that like button. That's for darn sure. Tater Dom, brother, cheers, cheers, cheers. Always glad to see you here. Here we go. Got you on loudspeaker at work. All right, there you go. Get everyone going. We'll give them an education. That's for sure. So tonight, I've got some wonderful scotches. Wonderful scotches. Like I said, courtesy of Eric Gunderson, who dropped these off to me, and he knows that I do enjoy scotch and peated scotch at that. So he was so generous. This is not the first time, but this stuff that's here is really, really up my alley, and particularly the third one. Well, he calls it number three, but I've been wanting to try this for some time now, and it's like, wow, I am stoked to try this because I have 2022 release of it, but the 2023 I never saw here in Vegas. Never saw here in Vegas. Hey, Whiskey Corner, cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by and smashing that like button. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Mike, cheers. Thanks for popping over. Really appreciate you for that. 3-chord. Hey, I actually have some of that, and I don't recall what I did with it, but I brought it up for some people that I know and this summer, and I gave it to them. They enjoyed the heck out of it, and I do believe it was the rye. And I was like, oh, when I saw 3-chord, I'm like, oh, I got that on there somewhere. Well, I'm gonna have to dig that out one day, and if you're on, Mike, I'll crack the top of that thing. I just don't remember which one it is, but I'm told, and from what I remember tasting, that rye was pretty good. Big Cat, cheers, man. Appreciate you over here. So let me get right to this so people know what I got. So the first one I'm going to try is the Port Charlotte Heavily Peated. It's a 9-year, finished in ex-bourbon, sherry, and Sauternes cask, coming in at 55.2 ABV. I am so interested in that one too. And the one that I have just sitting right here that's already open is the Glen Scotia 2022 Festival 8-year in ex-bourbon and ex-PX Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. And it is non-chill filtered, natural color right here, coming in at 56.5 ABV, which is music to my ears. So for me, the holy grail of scotches is when it's 46 ABV, non-chill filtered, and no color added. That to me is perfect. Now, I do like north of 46. Do like north of 46. But all these are north of 50. The last one that I'm extremely excited to get, which is right here, and I have a 3 on it just so when I'm looking down, I keep track. It's the Laphroaig Carchis 2023, finished in the white port, coming in at 53.3 ABV. It's non-age stated, but it's non-chill filtered, so it should be a viscous, creamy delight. So, you know, I don't know which one I'm going to start off with first, but it really doesn't make a difference. But because, just because I'm really interested in the Port Charlotte, that's where I'm going to start is the Port Charlotte Heavily Peated. And if you want to know the specific bottle, it's SC01 2012 in the Port Charlotte. Oh my gosh, it is just what I like to smell right here. And they call this heavily peated, but I'm telling you, on my nose when I put this up here, I am not. I mean, it is peated. Absolutely, it's peated, but it it isn't that Laphroaig 10 peat that just comes up and just smacks you, or like on the Ardbeg NO. It's yeah. To me, that is a stronger peat. Two different kinds of peat. We're talking about two different whiskeys, but not what I was expecting off the Port Charlotte. Even the regular Port Charlotte. Okay. White port. Oh yeah, Madeira finish. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry. It is on there. It is on there. I had to move another piece of paper over. So I covered it, Eric. So thank you. Um, anyway, I love the peat. I love the malt on the nose. Um, it just to me just goes superbly together. And this particular Port Charlotte, not this particular one I'm drinking now, but Port Charlotte 10 heavy peat in general is my favorite go-to scotch when I'm having a steak. It goes so well with a steak, some mushrooms, little onions on that thing. Gosh, that's good. But on the nose, it is just what you look for in Port Charlotte. It truly, truly is. But the sherry gives it, I could really get the sweet of the sherry on the nose, really get the sweet of the sherry on the nose with this Port Charlotte. And there's just something a little different with that Sauternes. There's just something about it here that I can definitely tell it is not your regular Port Charlotte. So let's see what it's like on the palate. Mm, wow, that's marvelous. The sherry's beautiful. The Sauternes has a wonderful sweetness on it. And the way that peat just filters back, and I've said this time and time again, the way that peat just comes back on the finish, and how the sugars, the sweetness from that sherry just wraps around the tongue, and then that smoke just gently comes back from the back of the palate up to the front of the tongue. It is absolutely amazing, delicious. I'm just looking down to make sure I know what I'm trying to pick out here. Let me get another little swig of this. Donald, it is lovely stuff. Yeah, the SCO1, yes. It is truly, it's the first time I've had it. So, and this is the 2012 is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hmm. Sorry, I have to savor this. Really good. Nice, nice viscosity to it. Um, really nice. Hey, Bourbon Baller, cheers, man. Thanks for popping in just to smash that like button, say hello, and listen to me stammer for a little bit. I tell you what, I can understand why you'd be on that second bottle because once you pop that first one and had that first dram, Donald, uh, you probably went and grabbed the straw, put it in there, and called out the next 2 days. So totally can understand that. Hey, Big Vic. Cheers, man. Thanks for popping in, smashing that like button, brother. Always appreciate that. Thank you. Gentlemen, who showed up in chat? Did I miss somebody? Goodness gracious. Hey, Jay. Cheers, man. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, you got to find the first bottle to get a second bottle in my case, but this is this is really great. Thank you, Eric. Really great. But man, all right. Let me get another one here. Mm, wow. You know, I can only imagine what that would be like with the little cornmeal and dill anthology in my pipe. God, that's really that's really nice. Really nice. Let me put that cap back on there a second and grab a little swig here of water. That flavor was really, really good. Certainly, to me, didn't drink like a 55 ABV. Did not drink like that. I would have to venture to say this was more, to me, it was more along the lines of about a 100 proofer, so 50. I don't think I would have. I probably would not have pegged it at. I would not have pegged it at 55. There's no way. I'd have called it out around the 50. I might even dropped it to. I probably would have dropped it to 48. 50 would have been my high on the ABV on it. It drinks very, very nice on there. So I'm gonna jump a little bit, and the reason why I'm gonna do that is um, the because the Glen Scotia Festival is 56, and I don't want to go to that and drop down to the Lafroig Carchus. So I'm going to hold off on doing this right now, and I'm going to pop the top on this Lafroig right here. And I love Lafroig, that's for sure. Um, you know what? There is a discussion on that if I'm heading back into the Berg, um, but I will make sure you are quite uh, aware of that when I do pop back over there. Holy smokes! This this is my first whiff of Lafroig Carchus 2023. Totally unexpected nosing. This is bread. This is like banana bread, malt. Wow. This this is amazing on the nose. This was not expected. This was an unexpected delight. Wow. The Freud Carchus 2023 white port and Madeira finish. If I got that, if I remember what that was on there, Eric. Sorry. I think that's what you said it was. 52.3 ABV. It's a non-age stated, but it's non-chill filtered. Oh my gosh. This is fabulous. Has anyone else had this 2023 Lafroig Carchus? Wow. I could sit here and just put this in a diffuser and smell it all day long. Oh my God. Wow. Hey, Livewire. Cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hey, Mark. Cheers. Hey, it had to be done. It had to be done. They had to pull it out, and Rudolph did a good job. Well, he did what he was paid to do. And if that means you got to seat your man, you seat your man. And they had to. Besides, he was injured. But the man is hot. Rudolph is hot, and he did what he had to do. And I'm thankful. Oh my gosh. All right, man. Yeah, I totally get it. For me, 0 to 30 hours will be here before I know it. Yes, Lafroig Carchus or Lafroig in general is a peated Scotch. All right. It is time to get this on the palate because this is an amazing nose. Wow. That is Lafroig. There's no doubt about it. That peat is quintessential Lafroig all the way. Wow, that white port is nice on that. The finish is nice. Seems a little short, but that's the first sip here. Let me get now that that palate shock is done and over with. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, is that good? You know, to me, that peat just brings out that port, that sweet. It's not. I shouldn't say thick sweetness, but it is. It has a good mouth coating to it, and the peat just kind of wafts back on the finish on this Lafroig, and wow. But the white port, really, the white port finish on this is fabulous. Tuesday, I probably could be there around 2 when I get off work. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Now, it's the quintessential Lafroig, Mark. Quintessential. You get that 10, that's there. But the white port really makes everything just gel. Um, it's sweeter, of course, than the standard Lafroig 10, much so. Um, it seems a little more viscous than the Lafroig 10. It just does. It really does. And on the nose, the nose with this white port and this is just it's I can't describe it other than it's just fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I know I've said this a couple of times, but really this is really, really good. Really good. Hey Dan, cheers. I guess egg roll is wrapped in the blanket for the night. Wow. Goodness is this good. Man, this would be another good one with a steak. I think the way the peat is in this with this port and the ABV is wonderful. It's wonderful on this thing. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me clear my palate. Okay. Boy, right now it's kind of tough to pick the one I like the best out of the two I just had, it's it's really good, really good. The Port Charlotte SCO1 with the sherry and sauternes, that was really good also. But, I have the Glen Scotia that Eric dropped off to me a couple of weeks ago, the 2023 11-year, excuse me. And oh my goodness. And this was a white port. And oh my goodness gracious. So I may have to open this one here again, and because I've held it a little bit, because that's one of those that you can just drop that whole 2 ounces in your Glen and make yourself extremely happy with. Okay. So now is the Glen Scotia 2022 Festival 8-year finished. Was it? Yeah. Ex bourbon, XPX sherry coming in at 56.5 ABV, non chill filtered, and natural color. Yes, that's an original whiskey Encore Glen. They don't use that type of a logo anymore, but what can I say? That's just how it goes. Oh man, that sherry is coming on strong on that one. Beautiful nose, wonderful maltiness. Little pear, it seems like. Yeah, malt, pear, sweet, and smoke. Huh. Okay. Yeah, like I said, at first I wasn't expecting that on this. And when I could smell it, I'm like, wow, I could smell this Glen Scotia. When I picked it up and put it to my nose, I was like, wow, because this was going to be my opening sipper until I realized what this was. Like, oh, no, 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 we can't do that. Well, we could have, but now that I know that it was peated, it's fine. In other words, I just did not want to have something not peated and try to compete with peated whiskey. So, worked out for the better. Hey, Mark. Cheers, man. And go Steelers. That's for sure. And I will forward you an email when I am on the way over to your place to drop off those samples, because I found the containers for them. I just put them somewhere I shouldn't have and forgot about it. So drove myself crazy looking for them. But I'll let you know. Definitely more peat in the 2022 versus the 2023. Well, I picked it. Well, I didn't pick it up at first. It was sitting underneath me, and I had the caps on the other two. And then when I opened the show, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I could really smell this Glen Scotia, and the peat just went boom. And I'm like, all right. There we go. Playoffs, baby. Oh man. Okay. All right. Let me try some of this. Mm, that PX Sherry in this Glen Scotia is Wonderful. Wow. I like the Pedro Jimenez sherry cask finished whiskeys. They just pop to me versus the Oloroso. Okay. I have nothing against Oloroso, but my druthers, or if you ask me specifically, yeah, I prefer PX sherry just because of the taste that it imparts in the whiskey is fabulous. Mm, the sweet cream is what I get on the palate. And then the peat is it just it's there, but it complements this sherry finish extremely well. The level of peat is not overpowering the finish at all. And a little oakiness, and it's nice to get that. It's nice to get that. It's not overpowering or anything like that to me. Um, this is this is really good, and I think this is done well because nothing seems, the and it's really the peat. It's not it's there, but it is not pushing the flavor of the sherry out, and I'm still getting some oakiness from those ex-bourbon barrels that it's sat in. And so it's a nice contrast on the palate. And the finish, that peat is still there, kind of like the Lafroy lingers a little bit afterwards. But this is a very nice dram, very nice dram. If you are into something that's nice and bready, sweet, savory smoke, but not overpowering in any way, my opinion, not overpowering in any way. Oh my goodness. I tell you right now, Scotch Down Under would drool over that. And again, he may have that. I'll have to ask him because he loves tawny port. Oh my gosh, he loves that tawny port. That's for sure. Hey, Dave. Cheers, man. Titans. Titans. Goodness gracious. Let's go Steelers. What are you talking about? Come on. Rudolph all the way. So let me get another sip of this here. Then I'm going to have to go through them and let you know which one I like the best. But right now, boy, this Glen Scotia is really, it's tough. Mm. Wow, that's nice. That is nice. Okay. All right. So, number one is right here, and this is the Port Charlotte. And number three is here. Okay, number two is here, and I'm better remember what I did here. Okay, so let's go back to number one, and let me see what this thing is, what I think now about number one, the Port Charlotte. Okay. All right. Get another little sip of water here and go back to the Glen Scotia. All right now, I'm going to tell you, the Glen Scotia's comes in first, without a doubt. It's the PX Sherry. I'm sorry, I'm partial to it, but right now, boom. So, who's going to be in second? Is it going to be Port Charlotte or is it going to be Lafroig? Those of you that know, what do you think, people? Am I going to pick the Lafroig or am I going to pick the Port Charlotte as my choice for the number 2 spot? That white port is amazing in here. Oh, that malty sweetbread note is really nice. Uh, hey, however it is, that's all it counts is they're in. That's it. They're in. Okay, let me take another sip here. Man, that's tough. Port Charlotte, Lafroig. Port Charlotte, Lafroig. Wow. Minus 24C in Lithuania. All right. That's a good morning to head to work, JD. That is a good morning, JD. So I'm sure you were listening, JD. So I've got Port Charlotte heavily peated 9-year, ex-bourbon sherry and sauternes, 55.2 ABV. It's the SCO1. Then, of course, the Glen Scotia 2022 Festival 8-year in the bourbon and PX sherry. And then number 3 is the Lafroig Carchis, the 2023 finished in white port. So I have 3 of these here. And right now, the Glen Scotia is number 1. And I'm trying to pick between Port Charlotte or Lafroig for the number 2 spot. And that white port in the Lafroig Carchis is absolutely amazing. But I got to give it a fair shake between one of my favorites, the Port Charlotte. But let's see here one more time. A little Port Charlotte left here. Let's give this thing a little another taste. Oh yeah. Sorry to hear that, Dave. But yeah, that's tough. Cheers, man. Man, this is a tough choice for the number 2 spot between the Lafroig and the Port Charlotte, but wow, none of them are terrible. None of them. It's God, between the white port and the sherry, but man, that Sauternes is just that little bit is just rearing its head. It's popping like ah. Man. All right, a little more Lafroig here. Wow, it's tough. Yeah, I did see that link. And you know what, JD? It's funny you should say that because that white port is, and like I said, I love the sherry, but that sherry on the Port Charlotte is probably the Oloroso finish, and it just doesn't quite pop like the PX sherry in the Glen Scotia. So that's why it's the number one spot. And I'm almost there, JD, to pick the Lafroig because I'm partial to Lafroig also, but man, I want to give it a fair shake. I really, really do. The Sauternes finish on that too, though, for the Port Charlotte. It's tough. It is. It's tough. You know what? Don't laugh. I'm going to have a couple of almonds right now just to clear off the palate real quick. Got to have these things if you're going to do peat. Wow. It's extremely close. Hat off to you, sir. Thank you. This is actually one of my favorite bespoke hats from a hatter here in Las Vegas. The company's name is D Bar, as in what you would go up to and drink, J Hat Company. I've been probably going to him for over 20 years for my hats that I have. I have a few others from him. I mean, when I say others, not from him off the rack, but primarily they're all from him. My pretty much all my bespoke hats are from him. That's the thing. So now I cleared my palate a little bit with some almonds. Okay, here we go. Port Charlotte. Mm. The plus on the Port Charlotte, a little higher in proof. And the Sauternes was nice. Oh my gosh. Thank you very much. Yes, I've heard about that Lafroig with the PX finish. Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right, here we go. Lafroig Carchus, white port. Mm. Well, as much as I like Port Charlotte, the Glen Scotia Festival came in first. The Lefroy pushed out my Port Charlotte for the second spot. Port Charlotte's 3. However, I love them all. I would drink them every day. I would buy them without a doubt. But for my palate, that white port on the Lefroy just pushed out that sherry and Sauternes finish on the Port Charlotte. Even though I love Port Charlotte, it is my favorite peated Scotch for a steak. Um, it's tough to choose, but that white port just popped on that Lefroy like no place, and on the nose, it was amazing. It was actually stunned me at first because I, I couldn't believe what I was taking in there for a moment, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really an amazing nose on this whiskey. I wasn't expecting that. When I popped that, like I said, as soon as I popped that top off, and this is one that Big Vic gave me. It's one of his, and wow, it just wafted right up and hit me, and it was a kind of a shocker. But well, number one, the Glen Scotia Festival 8-year, the bourbon and PX sherry, and I love the PX sherry. Um, Always have. I just think the flavor in that is magnificent, and it always really um, is a good call for me. It really is. Shanahan Snowflake 23. Well, you know what I'm drinking, Mr. Jackson. I've got 3 different scotches: Port Charlotte, Glen Scotia, and Lefroy Carchus 2023, and in my glass. So that's what I am definitely working on. And really, thanks to Eric Gunderson there for being the benefactor of this particular delight for me. It was truly a delight and a nice dram. And I have just enough for a few this week to sit down there and really sit back and enjoy it. Hopefully the wind stops here, you know. That's would be nice. Well, you know what? When you get home, yeah, drop it off when you're coming by. Holy smokes, look at this from the land down under. Cheers, Chris. Hope you and Lil are having a good day. Cheers, man. Got that ogre chalice full, I'm sure. Hmm. Yeah, not that you're counting. Hawaii. Wow. Glen Scotia is magnificent. It's 2022. It's magnificent. Like I said, that the oakiness of that, I get that, but the sherry just makes it. The sherry just makes it, and that peat just comes back on that finish, and it's like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right, Eric. I drank that. That's right. I did drink that. That's right. I was like, oh wait a minute, why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, send that. I know what that is, but it's right. I did drink that, but it's good. You take it when you get it, Eric. You do not look a gift like that in, a gift horse like that in the mouth. You just, okay, I will take more. Oh yeah, brother. I can ring you up on the mobile or whatever. But yeah, we definitely will chat if there's something I need over there. But I still can't believe that guy wants that crappy white labeled garbage from over there. But hey, he says he actually will drink it. I go, dude, whatever you want. Yeah, you can't look those gift horses in the mouth. But this Glen Scotia is absolutely amazing. Oh, let me tell you what, that C921, that C921 was my favorite of that year. So I have a backup for the backup of that. And I always tell the story, but sometimes you forget what you have on the shelf. And I knew I wanted a backup. And long and short of it is I picked it up. And when I put it to back up the open bottle, I realized I already had the backup there. So one open and two backups for the C921. Really good. And now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't had it in a minute, and I'm like, huh, I'm gonna have to go and get some. Eh, hey, it's not a popular one. Everybody down there in Oz knows. Leave it where it is. Oh yeah, send that one. You send that one, JD. Oh, I know. When it's literally right in there because that whole row is Elijah Craig from just the small batch to the 8 year, 9 years, picks, toasted barrel, so on and so forth, and the backups for it are up on the top shelf. But yeah, it's one of those that when you start sipping on, you go, oh my god, I forgot, and you go back and back and back. But I've said this before in another stream. Um, that I got to go back to some of these bottles because some of them I haven't touched in a year or more because I've got other ones open. And I'm going to start doing some streams to where I'm going back and start at my Bardstown Discovery 1 and go back through them to the Fusion series and stuff that I have not touched in a while or went back to and revisit those things because they were good, except the five. I had my reservations on the five, but now that it's sat, it's gotten a lot better. But anyway, yeah, you got to get back into those things and pour yourself a dram because if you don't, just like you said, holy smokes, I forgot how good it was. The break in your Elijah Craig barrel proof chain is missing a C921. Really? Really? Hold on just for a moment there, Jay. Don't go far. Don't go far. Hold on. I'm just turning the camera off because I'm going to stand up and I don't want my butt to the camera. But hold on. Dude, yeah, you're going to hear some clanging. You're going to hear some clanging. Where is it? Here we go. Do. Okay. So Jay, C921, right? Told you I had a backup for the backup, right? So make sure I get your address and we'll trade something out at some point, but I'll drop this off to you so you won't have that missing link anymore. How's that? So, because I already have one open and I've got a backup, but this is a phenomenal bottle. And if you're not sure what my email is, it's bourbonneophyte@gmail.com. So once I get your information and I'll drop it off at your place when I'm over there. So there you go. You won't have that problem anymore. Yeah, I did dry uh, January. I did 2 days or 3 days. I thought that was pretty darn good. That's for sure. Oh, his picks are amazing. I've got a couple of samples of them. I've been saving. I mean, I've sipped them. They're really good. Baller's picks are amazing. I can't believe that. Up there in the great north? Come on. The what is it? LCBO or something like that up there in Canada. What do you call that, Donald? Yeah. Yeah, Jay, not a problem. Like I said, I got a backup for the backup and I got one open. So I have no problem with it. You're more than welcome. Oof. They're good, but they're definitely not that good. But I know that's Oz prices. So, mm, mm. That Glen Scotia was fabulous. Had to get that all out. But anyway, all right. And it comes in at 120 proof, 60.1 ABV, Jay, is what these things are. And I'll make sure when I drive over there that it's in a box, real nice, so it won't jostle around in my trunk when I'm cruising down 70. I don't know what it's going to be like running through uh, Cincinnati and stuff like that, and particularly right around St. Clairsville. So you know what it's like. Damn Ohio highways. Yeah, yeah. Logistics, 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 Chris. That's for sure. I'm surprised. I mean, well, I'm not surprised for the stuff that you can find over there in Lithuania. I guess it takes a while to get over there on the boat, but um, yeah, JD, I'm surprised at some of the older stuff you find uh, on the shelves over there. Really, hell, if you find any of the paper labeled wild turkeys 101s, with a paper label, like they had 19 and 20. Huh, you'll be cooking. Oh yeah. They're some of those are absolutely bunker worthy, Chris. Absolutely. Um, you know, like I said, this is the C921 was my favorite that year. Was at my absolute favorite. All right, Eric. Yep, I'll be doing the same thing shortly. 0230 hours will be here before I know it, and I got to get up and go to work and do the same thing. But when you get to talking whiskey, time flies, that's for sure. But thank you again, sir, for all of this and being the benefactor of this particular stream tonight. It was an amazing flight. It was a delicious flight, and I am glad I had the experience because of you. So thank you very much, and you have a wonderful evening, and look forward to talking to you soon. Oh yeah, $37 for that all day long. All day long for an Aaron 10. Yep, without a doubt. All right. I'm going to save my, well, no, I'm not. There's not much in there, so I'm going to save it for last. But my number 2 was the Lafroig. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. That white port really is amazing with that Lafroig. And like I said, it's the Lafroig peat. It's the Lafroig peat right there. But wow, really nice. Really, really nice. All right. Now, this will not be the last pour that I'm going to have. The last pour I'm going to do, because I had this out, is a 22-year-old from Alexander Murray and Company from Tobermory Distillery, which is a pick from a store here in Total Wine. And I'm going to pour that here in a minute, and before I end the stream. But let me finish this Port Charlotte here. God, it smells so nice. Love Port Charlotte. Love Port Charlotte. I think if it was the PX Sherry and the Sauternes, I think it really would have given the Lafroig a run for the money. I really do. The Lafroig Carchus 2023 with the white port. Because like I said, I feel the PX, the Pedro Jimenez sherry casks just have more flavor to it when you finish your whiskey in there, and it really, really to me seems to pop versus a standard sherry like an Oloroso. Mm. Mm. God. Every time I have Port Charlotte, I want steak, because that's my favorite scotch to have with a steak. Truthfully is. All right. Let me get another glass here. Let me cleanse my palate. Okay. This one here, like I said, it's a 22-year-old single cask coming in at 53.8 ABV, and it's refilled sherry butt from Tobermory Distillery, and it was a Total Wine pick. Get a little closer there so you all could see it. So when I bought this, it was 2020, late or very early 2021. I got to say it was late 2020, but um, I didn't buy it at Total Wine. They didn't pick it up, or they didn't pick up all of it. And another um, liquor store here, Lee's, did. And I picked it up from them. Well, I found this bottle again at the Total Wine by me, but it's $60 more than I paid for it 2 years ago, roughly 3 years ago. Well, yeah, almost 3 years ago. It went up $60. But I had this thing for 2 years. I didn't open this until just a few months back. So it was April or May, whenever my sister and brother-in-law got to town. I'll have to look. But anyway, I just had it sitting on the shelf. And wow, really a great sipper. Really a great sipper. And I figured this is going to be the perfect one to have a final pour on. I haven't had it in a minute, but it has some peat to it. Not as heavy as what I've had, but it has some peat. But this is the highest ABV of everything that I've had tonight. So 58. So pour a little drop of that in here. And I really started the night off when I was on Livewire's stream earlier. I got back into this bottle. And that was the 30-year-old Duncan Taylor blended scotch that I got for Christmas. And man, this is a nice scotch. Now I definitely have it down to the shoulder, and I'm going to leave it open up a bit more and then go back and do another pour on it. And I haven't reviewed it or anything yet, but I knew I liked it because I had some at the store. So they set the hook in my lip and I bought it. But it's nice to be able to try things before you buy it to know if you're really going to like it. Because you're spending $100, $200, $300 on a bottle of whiskey. You want to know, is it worth exploring? You want a little pour of it. You want something to go, okay, yeah, this has promise, or oh hell yes, I'll take it. So, but anyway, yeah, that's what I originally started with because I wasn't. Well, I knew the other one. I knew two were peated. I didn't know about the Glen Scotia, so I originally started on this and stayed with. Well, that's not true. I'm lying again. Midwinter's Night's Dram. I actually had a pour of that this afternoon with my lunch because it's so windy and just chilly here that was the perfect accompaniment to my lunch this afternoon, was having that on there. And that actually that it was nice. It has a very nice flavor to it. But anyway, you set this here. So this is that 22-year-old Tobermory. There's a very nice color to it. Very nice color on there. Wonderful, wonderful nose. Wonderful nose on there. Beautiful maltiness. I've reviewed it before, but it's just a nice malty, sweet, with just a wisp of smoke on the nose. Just a wisp of smoke. It's not anything overpowering whatsoever. But it's just very, very nice. Mm. Wow. Those sherry butts really did this justice on this. And then it's so nice. It's so viscous. It's so sweet. And then the smoke comes. just ever so slightly on this. So if you were somebody that was kind of new to peated whiskey, this would be nice. Really like a I'm trying like a caramel chew, maybe a butterscotch chew. And I know it's gonna sound weird, but like a deep brown sugar, thick type note. I'm just trying to figure it out. Definitely has the maltiness to it, but oh my goodness, it's a nice scotch. It's a very nice scotch. And it's one of those like when I first sniffed Lefroy Carchus 2023 here tonight. When I first opened that just 6, 8 months ago, um, I was kind of set back at how nice the nose was on it, and I'd never had it. I opened it for my sister and brother-in-law, so it was fresh crack, it was fresh pours into their glass because I took them on a journey, and to get them into peated scotch, okay, because they were always dead set against it. But so anyway, they know they can drink peated scotch and they know they can enjoy it now. So where they go from that journey, I don't know. But when I opened that, I never had it, so I poured me some. And when I took that first sip, I nosed it. I knew right off the bat, I was like, oh my goodness. I took that first sip, I'm trying to hold my emotions or my surprise because I didn't want to give anything away to them who I was doing the flight for. So, but wow, I said, I can't believe I waited almost 2 years before I opened that bottle. Stupid. But I had so much other stuff. I thought, I'll just leave it sit there. I'll just leave it sit there. I'll just leave it sit there. Man, oh day. And if I'd have known how good it was 2 years ago, I probably went out and bought a backup for it and been a hell of a lot less money. So I'm on the fence about getting the backup now, but it's paying $60 more than I originally paid for it. That's the kick in the teeth. I mean, it is good. It is really good. And I'm trying to justify in my head spending $160 on that bottle. Yeah. It's not a tough pill to swallow, but it's got some jagged ends on it. And it's like, I don't know, because I know what I paid for it originally. And it's not like it cost them any more money to get it. They bought it years ago. They just jacked the price up. And I told the one manager that a few months back when I seen it. I go, that's a ripoff. I did. I straight up told him that's a ripoff. I know what I paid for this thing. And I go, and if they can sell it for that, you damn well could. But yep, that's just how that goes. Mm. Sorry about the pause, but it's just a good drop. Damn. So I've got to push that thing back in the shelf and bury it because it will call me. It will call me when I get off of work to come and visit it, to sit with it, to put it in a glass, to invigorate the senses of the olfactory. And gosh, sorry. It's one of those things that you've just got to experience. I mean, it's really darn good. Really darn good. But anyway, wow. Well, really, it was nice of Eric to drop these samples off that I had tonight, and he is such a generous person that to send this stuff because this stuff, some of the stuff I just can't get here to try for you all, and some of you have had it or have had pours of it. So it's nice to be able to get this, and that's one thing about this community is that when they know that you like something or they appreciate others' opinions like mine, and I have no idea why, but um, they drop these things off to you. And of course, I'm guilty. I've sent a few things out to people and wanted their opinion before even I reviewed something, only because I know what I taste and I know what I think, but I wanted to hear it sometimes from other people to see if they're in line with me or am I totally out of line with what the others have to say. And it's okay. You like what you like or you don't like what you don't like. But I enjoy receiving as much as I do giving, particularly new bottle stuff. I drop off at people's houses. Sorry, smack the microphone there with my hand. But it's nice to listen to others and let them tell you what they think of your whiskey because it's important to me to hear what others have to say. It's not always just about me and what I say about what's in the glass, although I know you all listen to me, but I always say, well, I don't have a great palate. At least I don't think so. But I enjoy listening to what others have to say when I send something out because I already got my understanding. What is the consensus of two or three other people who have a discerning palate, who can appreciate or pick out the deficiencies in a particular whiskey? So, anyway, I enjoy listening to them. And one of them that I always usually will bring up is the Lagavulin charred oak from last year, the Offerman. I did not find that enjoyable whatsoever, but I had given out some samples to people and they loved it. Well, okay, though, that's just me. It was not my favorite. However, now that it's sat a year and it's actually, oops, let me move. It's, oops, get my hand better. There we go. Let me move it down, move it over. There it is. It's sitting right there because I actually poured some a week ago. It's gotten much better now that it has sat on the shelf for a while. And when it sits on the shelf, it'll mellow out, it'll open up. And believe me, I did my best to get it way past the shoulder. I gave out samples and I'm going to give out another one. Um, I just had to find, my sample bottles and I put them in a spot that I normally wouldn't put them in. But anyway, and let someone else experience it because I really do believe that's a bottle that you need to try before you buy because it's still on the shelf a year later, well, over a year later. So, what does that tell you about a particular bottle that's still there? Some people say, oh, they just made a lot. Well, that's true. But if it didn't fly off the shelf like the Guinness, and the Guinness was just the Guinness edition, which finished in a Guinness barrel, the Lagavulin was, that just rich, chocolatey Guinness type of a note mixed in with Lagavulin whiskey was amazing. The charred oak, Mm, to me, not so much. Not so much. But that's okay. Yeah, I don't have to like everything. Holy smokes, I just seen. Cheers there, Bad Axe man. Nice to see you. Appreciate you popping in to smash that like button, man. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a good night, sir. And if you're up this late, are you working? All righty. Well, hmm. Ah, such a good pour. Anyway, well, I appreciate everybody who has stopped in tonight to listen to me babble a bit about the Port Charlotte, the Glen Scotia, and the Lefroy Carches from 2023. It's been a great evening, and I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. But I appreciate you all, and especially the generosity of Eric, who, again, I can't thank enough for providing these whiskeys for me to review and really enjoy tonight, to which I have some left over that I'm going to be able to enjoy later on this week and really kind of just sit down and sip it and experience these things. And, I feel just so lucky to be able to have these gifts and have you all here to just, like I said, listen to me. But anyway, I look forward to seeing you all next week. And yes, I will be doing another East Coast edition to where I'll start a little earlier, but I will make sure I let you all know. So those of you who are on the East Coast aren't up at midnight like poor Stacy or Eric, who's he's in Tennessee, but he's only 2 hours behind. But still, it's late for them and like Top Dog. But anyway, I appreciate you all. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I look forward to, just like I said, seeing you all next week. Cheers, everybody. Have a good evening.